Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt Leschber with 1836 Property Management, and this video is to go over our Q2 2023 resident survey satisfaction responses. Now, the good news is we've had a lot of responses, and so we've got a lot of feedback, positive and negative, to go over. We typically ask one question and then generally just for feedback beyond that so that we can touch base and see how we're doing. As we go through some of those questions, we always ask, the net promoter score, how likely are you to recommend our company and services? And believe it or not, 42% gave us a 10, which for a property management company is pretty exceptional. Another 14.5%, bringing us up to almost 60%, gave us a 9 or a 10. So we're thrilled with that. We do our best every day to just deliver great connectivity and transparency and connect with our clients and customers. And so we're really happy to hear that. A lot of the people also, we asked the next question, how likely are you to renew your lease in 2024? What the majority of the responses were compared to any other was that if the home was properly maintained and the rent was reasonable, they'd probably stay. That was about 45%. Another 23, bringing us up to, on the fly, close to 70 something percent, was that it would depend mostly on the rent. So this is really good news because if the rents are kept reasonable, not low, and the property is well maintained, as we always preach, people will renew and want to want to stay in the home. We did have a collection of responses from all of our different management teams, but we're going to go over just a few of those right now so that you can know that we are listening and give feedback to those. So the first one we're going to touch on is not having to call the office regarding an email to find out a team member just rented. Emergency work orders should be dealt with in a timely manner, even if it's the weekend. We totally agree. I'm not sure how to give you feedback that someone has read your email because it's just not the nature of emails. You may have to be patient with them, or ask for a response, or set up a time to meet with them is always the best thing to do. Scheduling a time that fits your calendar and theirs. Guys, they're out just sitting around hanging out in the office, eating bonbons and cappuccino all day. They're plugging away. So you're going to want to set a time. You can video chats, phone calls, whatever you may need to connect to the property management team. And that's their jobs. They're here to assist you. Emergency work orders, if they're during business hours, can go through our personnel. But we also have a 24/7 maintenance line. That is all they do. They answer the phone and they dispatch. Now, keep in mind, if it's the middle of summer, sometimes dispatching takes a minute because they're calling companies to see if you can get out. People are busy. If it's the first hot day of summer, your AC's down, you're not alone, but we're still working on your behalf. Another one of these was fantastic customer service and a wonderful home. That's positive. Another, let's say negative, is that y'all have a deposit like the y'all, so it must be a local at least. There's no reason to biannually review and photograph the house. Y'all are terrible on repairs and accountability. So let's start with the deposit. We do have a deposit. That's for the home. And unfortunately, if we don't go through these homes, which has been proven over, not just our careers, but others, people do damages, and those damages can easily exceed the security deposit. Now, let's say someone moves out, and they forgot to do XYZ when they moved out, and that ended up being $500. Now, how are we going to collect that money? Therefore, we do walkthroughs to protect the property, but also to look for things that you may not look for or report as a resident. We frequently find potential water intrusion or damage that residents aren't looking for or just don't want to report because they don't want their rent to go up as if we're retaliatory. So keep in mind, those are not just to catch people doing anything. They're to ensure compliance and that the property is properly maintained. As far as repairs and accountability, guys, if it's sent to us, keep in mind, it's not our money. Our job is to get that property up to par, everything working, functioning properly, and for a reasonable amount. Not the cheapest, not the most expensive, but just something fair to all. So I'm not sure how it could be terrible on either of us because it's not our money and we're just trying to get the problem solved. But I respect your opinion, and I definitely recommend you reach out to your property manager to connect. So some of these got really interesting this quarter, which is kind of fascinating. I enjoyed digging into it. And this one says that the contractors who've been to our property have showed 1836 specifically is notorious for doing the bare minimum maintenance, up to and including misdiagnosing the problem to avoid fixing it. And this has been in keeping with our experience as tenants. So this is fascinating on several levels. Let's dig into this. So the contractors who've been to our property have shared, we are notorious for doing the bare minimum. Okay, let's stop there and say, who determines what maintenance we do? Well, we have an authorization as property managers up to a limit. Beyond that limit, the owners, every single owner determines what they're willing to do. Now, I can tell you for me, personally on my properties, my team manages my properties. When there's a problem, they say something's not working, I go fix it. Because you have to fix it, guys. I mean, so if you're one of my residents in my personal properties, you may not even know it, but everything is fixed because I want to maintain the property. But otherwise, our owners restrict what we can and can't do. So 1836 doesn't really have an authorization beyond $500 or $1,500. The rest of that goes to our owners. Misdiagnosing the problem. I'm not sure how 1836 could misdiagnose a problem when the independent third-party contractors are the ones that give us the information. HVAC, plumbers, electricians, those are the parties that tell us what the problem is. It wouldn't be fair for me to go to NASA and tell them where the leak is with the space shuttle. We don't do that on HVAC systems either, guys. We hire independent, state-licensed third parties. They diagnose the problem, not us. So there's really not a way in the system for us to game the system. And we certainly don't want to avoid fixing anything. But I will tell you that our biggest challenge is getting owners to do the right thing. So as residents, you want the property to work. As property managers, we want it to work as well. But we've got to get owners that always are on board with that and want to deliver a great home for our renters. Keep in mind, guys, we don't have a dog in the hunt. We just want everybody happy and the right thing to be done. Last one is back to the house checks. The quarterly house check is highly inconvenient. I'm going to stop there because we don't do quarterly, so we go semi-annually. Especially because we work very busy jobs that can cause scheduling difficulties. You don't have to be home for the walkthrough. I'm not sure what you've got in your house, but nobody has to be home. We definitely let you know we're coming. So if you have any personal articles, you should away, of course. I appreciate the timely responses to issues we've had, but the feeling of privacy invasions of you all taking pictures of our home, going through our drawers and cabinets and costing us time has been less than satisfactory. So I'm going to physically back up from the camera at this point. No one is trying to take photos of your kids' photos or personal property, or especially personal belongings. If anyone has gone through your drawers and cabinets, bring it to us, bring us the evidence, and that won't work here anymore. So all of that stuff is, I think, a little... it's interesting. I'll leave it at that because I don't want to see anybody's wrong, but I'll say that I've never seen evidence of that. And the people that we've hired have been with us for either a decade or have served in the military and things of that nature. And so we've never had, I've had one issue of loss of walkthroughs in all the years. And that was actually by a third party who no longer is in business and hired their son. And he actually made a rep. It was an iPad, and that was probably over 10 years ago. And we manage over 800 units. We go through those units twice a year at bare minimum. So the volume of that compared to the risk has been remarkably great. So I'm sorry if you guys feel it's costing you time. You don't have to be home. If you have valuables, as always, put your valuables away. And no one should be going through your drawers or taking photos of your personal belongings. The objective is to see what's going on with the house. But I'm sorry you feel like it's been an invasion of privacy. But as a rental property, that's one of the things that owners tasked us to do, is to ensure that property is properly maintained. So, as always, I'm going to say this over and over. If you're a resident, if you're an owner, if you're anyone that's having challenges, schedule a time with your property manager. Guys, there's more on this list, but we just don't have time to go over in this video. Discuss all of these with your team. Just meet with them. They're humans. They want you happy. So if you're not willing to set aside the time to work with them to find positive solutions, or at least to better understand the background, it's really hard to help you, but I want you to know we are here. We're standing by. We're ready to help. Schedule a time. Video call is always best, or come see us or give us a call online. 1836propertymanagement.com. We'll see you guys on Q3 for the next resident satisfaction survey results. Adios.